2 years ago, I took delivery of this, a 2019 Winnebago Travato 59GL. Prior to that, I had no RV experience, had never owned an RV, and we waited 6 months for this rig to arrive. Today, I'm going to tell you the good, the bad, the ugly, would I buy it again, and would I recommend it for you. Stay tuned. Tuning in today, really appreciate that. My name is Scott, I'm your host. Welcome to Go Small, Live Large, YouTube channel dedicated to the RV lifestyle, the Class B van RV lifestyle in particular. In 2017, pretty unhappy with my life, status quo. 2018, decided to reinvent that. Like many of you doing a lot of research on YouTube, decided this was the right rig for me. There's a lot of reasons for that. In 2018, June, we placed an order. October 2018, took delivery, 4 months of part-time, and since October 2019, I have lived full-time in this 21-foot camper van. Let me save you 10 minutes of your life, and I'm gonna give you the punchline right now. So would I buy this rig again? Absolutely, without even a thought about it. And would I recommend it to you? I absolutely would. If you are shopping for an RV right now, new or used, I would take a really close look at the Winnebago Travato. But what I want to do today is share with you why I chose this rig and the good, the bad, the ugly of the Winnebago Travato. Let's get into it. So let's do some numbers. I think this is kind of fascinating. 2 years of ownership, full-time since October 2019, currently October 2020, so it's a solid year of full-time in this rig. I loosely calculated that that's about 6,000 flushes of the toilet because I use my facility. Over 50,000 miles in this rig, nearly 35 states, 20 days that I have not operated the fridge and freezer because I was way out of town using an airplane, even overseas, and my Volta lithium-ion system, Pure 3 as Winnebago calls it, has been turned on and functioning flawlessly for over 700 days, close to 750 days by my calculation. Those are astounding numbers by most measurements. It's very different taking your RV out for a long weekend, a few weeks, or even a few months during the year. I have literally been living in this rig for over a year full time now. Pretty crazy to think about. So what I want to do is give you my list of good. And that starts with Winnebago. It's a brand I really respected without knowing anything about it, other than it was a brand that was just been in the business for 50 plus years and knew what they were doing when it came to motorhomes in particular. They have not disappointed. So I'm glad I chose a Winnebago. I'm glad I chose a Travato because it is and continues to be, has been for a while, the best-selling Class B RV in North America. And there's a reason for that. Quality is absolutely at the top of the list. I can say that because I just took my rig through a punishing 50-mile round trip up dirt mountain roads that shook so bad I actually had to lay down when I stopped because I was so jostled. My rig ran flawlessly. Unbelievable. I was expecting something to break and nothing broke. So I'm really glad I have a Winnebago, really glad I have a Travato. And the second reason that I chose that's good about my Travato is the floor plan. The Travato comes in 2 flavors from Winnebago, kind of a twin bed model, open room concept, bathroom in the back. That's called the K. Mine's a G. If you watch my video at all, you know I just crow about the 4 distinct living spaces in this small camper van. It's 21 feet long, it's 7 feet wide, and now mine is just about 11 feet tall, which is pretty amazing. We'll get to that in a minute. So to have 4 distinct living areas in a camper van of this size is something I really, really enjoy. Permanent table that can be collapsed into a bed to sleep up to 2 people. Really nice galley with a huge fridge and freezer. An amazing Murphy bed that's a 4x6 bed that sleeps up to 2. You know, depending on your sleep patterns, uncomfortably or comfortably. For one, it's perfect. Flips up, and then you have a hallway down the entire length of the van and amazing amounts of garage storage. And the largest, I think, Class B bathroom in its class, which is pretty amazing. And I use all of these rooms, as I call them, all the time. The third thing that's really important about the Good is my Volta system. I would put that as a great. Volta is just, it's so amazing to have all of the lithium energy, 30 amps, as if I'm plugged into shore power anywhere I go in complete silence. And that's the key. Without the Volta system, I would have to start a generator to run the microwave, to run the 110 outlets, to run the rooftop air conditioning. And I cannot tell you how lovely it is to have all that power at your fingertip, touch of a button, in complete silence. It's absolutely magical. It's loud, right? Can we close the doors?
Close it up?
Yeah. This is with the generator running. Now we're in a building, but nonetheless, there is serious vibration. Yeah, go check out the vibration. And yes, I'm the Volta brand ambassador, but I gotta tell you, if you've been watching my videos, I've been crowing about this for 2 years, ladies and gentlemen. It's the most amazing thing. Volta is probably, it's the great thing about my Winnebago Travato. Some other things that make up the good list is I've modifications, as some people call it, mods, to my Winnebago Travato. That's why it looks so different. Now, while the inside is largely the same from the factory, I've changed a lot on the exterior. One, it used to be silver. Yeah. I just wanted a different look. I wanted to reflect my personality. I didn't want to roll into a group of Travatos and look like everybody else. I wanted some distinctiveness, some personality. And so I had the van wrapped. I had the van lifted just recently, this month, October 2020. It's now technically I think almost 4 inches taller. And that gives me a great deal more ground clearance, which I wish I would have had when I went to Silver City, Idaho. The roads were so bad. I've also added new tires and wheels, and I've added the brush guard on the front. I'm really concerned about deer strikes and road debris, and that's already paid for itself once with some road tire impact, which is pretty amazing. So that kind of rounds out the good list. I'm just so pleased with the quality of this vehicle. It's just proven to be unbelievable little space capsule on 4 wheels on planet Earth. Let's get into some of the bad. One in particular kind of makes me uncomfortable to this day, and that is not having a spare tire. Now, I've driven 55,000 miles and the last 35,000 on my set of all-terrain BF Goodrich K02 tires, and I am very glad I made that swap because I feel a heck of a lot more confident with these tires than the OEM tires that came with the rig. That said, there is no spare tire. If I have a tire issue, I am high and dry, calling the roadside service, maybe trying the glue can that comes with it, but nonetheless, that is something that still concerns me. When I see somebody on the side of the road, I'm immediately thought, I don't have a solution for that. How do I remedy that? I'm not sure that there is a way. I don't want to hang a spare tire off the back. I wish there was a spare tire underneath it. That would be great. But again, over 50,000 miles, no tire issues in terms of flat tires. That's pretty amazing. The other thing I would put in the bad column is Winnebago's warranty is, I would say, on the anemic side. And while I have had superb luck with my rig, I've only had it in, I did a video on this, on warranty work just a few times. And while my Winnebago warranty ran out really fast, 15,000 miles or 12 months, whichever comes first, I burned through that probably in the first 6 months of ownership out of 2 years now. So I've been without Winnebago warranty all this time. The Volta has a separate warranty. I believe it's at least 8 years, maybe even 10 on the energy pack itself. So significantly different warranty on the Volta system, which is great because it's probably the most expensive system in the rig, maybe even more than the engine and transmission. So I'm really comforted by that. But I wish Winnebago had a little bit more robust warranty. I would say that's not great, kind of in the bad column. And before we do, boy, if you've learned anything, sure to appreciate a thumb up. That helps me know you like this. Lets YouTube know that you like this. Helps others find the channel that way. And if you're into the Class B RV lifestyle at all, boy, it'd be great to have you a subscriber to this channel. Costs you nothing, and then you get notified by hitting the notification bell that new videos are posting. Posting about 1 to 2 videos a week, all about Class B RV, and the places we go, the people we meet. It'd just be a joy to have you part of the success of this channel. Okay, let's talk about ugly. So I didn't think that this would be the problem. That was my biggest challenge of 2 years of ownership, and it's really happened in the last 6 months. And that's the Ram chassis itself. I can't tell you what a disappointment it has been. I've had some pretty serious work done. It had a wobble from 5,000 miles. Strangely, has been solved with the lift. So there's something weird in the suspension that no longer exists. I took it to a number of dealers. They kind of pointed fingers this way. So I just kind of gave up on it. That has been remedied by lifting the van. That wobble is gone. The cylinder head was replaced at about 50, just under, it was 49,000 miles actually, just below the 50,000 mile powertrain warranty expiring. That was a really big project. It took me off the road for nearly 2 weeks, and the trouble has not surfaced again, which is great, but that kind of gave me a cause to pause. I was thinking the Winnebago was going to be a problem, not the Ram. So that was pretty ugly, and doesn't have a lot of, I just don't have the same confidence that I did initially. The other thing that's been really ugly is the tire pressure monitoring system. I've replaced it now once completely, and am about to replace it again. There's an electronic module that talks to the sensors in the tires. The sensors, batteries went dead. It's been kind of a fiasco. I can't say that the Ram dealer I took it to in Florida did a great job. I'm almost wondering if they monkeyed with it to create work. I hate to think that way, cynically like that, but nonetheless, the tire pressure monitoring system light is illuminated again, which indicates it needs to be replaced. So that would be the second time coming up. And because of my concern about the Ram engine and powertrain in particular, what I did is I purchased for $1,900 a 2-year Ram branded extended warranty that gives me unlimited mileage for those 2 years. So I'm feeling pretty good that powertrain, and I really don't know what it all involves other than the powertrain for sure, and the engine and transmission, things of that nature. But I'm feeling a lot better having that system or that extended warranty purchased. So Ram, weirdly, is in the ugly column. Winnebago, got a few things on the bad, but mostly this has been a really amazing experience. And I couldn't give a rounding out the good, the bad, the ugly without revisiting the good list. And what's been amazing is the dealer that I bought my Winnebago from, Winnebago Motorhomes in Rockford, Illinois, Mick and the team there, they're still kind of my lifeline. So my advice to you is, when you're choosing an RV dealer, choose very carefully. Are they going to be there for you after the sale is made? Will they take your call? Will they answer your email? It's not really a tech support hotline, but man, if there's something that you're really struggling with, I call my dealer, and you know what? He still takes care of me to this day. So choose your dealer very carefully. The other thing I would put in the good column is a Class B by itself. It is absolutely amazing. I'm currently in this amazing RV park, watch for a video coming up about that, in Helper, Utah. And there's 3 distinct classes of RVs, plus the towables. That's a Class B, the Class C, which has the silhouette we're all familiar with a bed over the cab, and then the big bus style, the Class A's. And I am so glad that I chose a Class B because it is nimble, easy to park, amazing gas mileage. I'm getting 15 to 18 miles on a gallon on the highway, about 12-ish in the city, which is better than my sports car. It's gasoline, front-wheel drive, and I just love all of that about the Class B and my Promaster van, Travato based in particular. It's the widest of the 3 chassis. It's also the shortest in terms of headroom. All of that works really well in my case. The other thing I love about a Class B is I come into camp, whether it's an RV park, a Cracker Barrel, a Walmart, a national park, a state park, a municipal park. I put the vehicle in park, pull the handbrake, and my camp is set up. It always kind of cracks me up watching folks set up their rigs, and even towable overnight. They have to go through all this setup to have a comfortable night's sleep. Me, I put it in park and pop a cold one, because it might have been a long day on the road. And Luke wants some dinner, I'm sure. So before I go, just want to give a couple more things that I put in the bad column, which is a Class B thing, so it's not really bad. It's just because of the type of RV, there's really a limited amount of storage, which is kind of okay for me because I like being a minimalist. And there's a really limited tank capacity, which again is the nature of Class Bs. I've seen other YouTubers talk about those being kind of negatives, and I guess they are. I certainly would like to have more, but it's just that type of RV just limits itself to the amount of storage and water tank capacity and wastewater tank capacity. So I'm going to not really put them in the bad column. It's just a part of the Class B RV experience versus the other guys, which have dozens of gallons of water, which is the way they roll, which is the type of rig that they have, and they made that choice. And one more thing that I will put into the bad column that absolutely was a negative on Winnebago, and that is I had a roof leak and a window leak. Those were because the sealants at some point became undone, and it was really kind of a hassle and very scary. Easily remedied by an RV service center, but I think those should have been a little bit better taken care of from a Winnebago standpoint. So I just was checking my notes and want to make sure I ran those out for you. So overall, again, good, bad, ugly. The ugly is really small. ProMaster's been the disappointment there. Bad, very minimal overall. The good list is really, really long. And I could go on for a long time, but you're probably tired of hearing me talk about it. So what I want to do is just say, again, reiterate like I did at the beginning, would I buy this rig again? I would absolutely buy this rig again. I would not change a thing, except I would not get the deluxe paint because I would probably wrap the rig anyway. And so yeah, it's just been a joy these last 2 years. It's completely changed my life. I've built an RV business out of it. This channel has grown like crazy, just crossed 10,000 subscribers. Have 2 paid partners, Volta brand ambassador, which is amazing, and Embassy RV. Love those guys. If you're again shopping for an RV, go check out Embassy RV. Very different approach to what the inside of one of these rigs would be like. They have 3 floor plans. You choose the chassis. Can't get that on a Winnebago. So again, if you're looking for options, check out my partner, embassyRV.com. So with that, I just thank you again for being part of this journey. It's just been such a pleasure these 2 years. Hopefully inspiring you, educating you a little bit perhaps, and maybe even a little bit of entertainment. So we have a lot more miles to go, a lot more videos to make, and I can't wait to see you on the road. We're doing a lot of fun things together, and that's what I want to do. So with that, I say thank you and journey on.
Up my